Hello everyone and welcome to episode 4 from the Fresno County Veteran Service Office. Once again, my name is David Rose, the Fresno County Veteran Service Officer, and today we will cover the VA appeals process. But first and foremost, everyone needs to be aware that the appeals process changed. It is now called the Appeals Modernization Act of February 2019, and it has completely changed the decades-long old system of VA appeals. The old process, known as legacy appeals, are being reviewed until complete, estimates say at the end of 2021. Yet any new appeals started after February 2019 are now under the AMA, which is the Appeals Modernization Act. Let me just briefly tell you how the old process ran. You'd file a claim. If you received a denial 6 months later, approximately, you would have to file a notice of disagreement. Then you'd wait about 1.5 years to 2 years to have them rubber stamp that decision, and then you would file a substantial Form 9 appeal. That would go to the Board of Veterans Appeals. About 4 or 5 years later, they would give you a hearing. If too much time passed, they would remand it for further development and then add another 2 or 3 years to the outcome. So the whole legacy appeals, there was only one route, one system, and it would take almost 10 years. And now I'd like to tell you what an appeal is. When a veteran or family member is denied a benefit on their VA claim using the normal claim process, which we talked about in episode 2, then an appeal must be used to overcome the previous decision. The new AMA process gives us more options and avenues to disagree with a VA decision. Under the AMA, there are 3 ways to disagree with a VA decision from a regional office, which is where claims are always originally decided, and they are all over the country. So even though Oakland is our office of jurisdiction, they can be brokered out to any regional office throughout the country, depending on workload. So I'm going to cover the 3 new avenues, whereas there used to be only one. First, you can file a supplemental claim with new and relevant evidence, and that's something that the VA has previously not had of record or haven't looked at. And this is still decided at a regional office, yet has great outcomes when working with your veteran service representative on this claim. Number 2, you can file a higher level review. That is when we see clearly that a mistake was made by the federal VA and no new evidence is allowed, but an argument on behalf of the veteran is allowed to go for the higher level review. And third is the biggest part. You file an actual appeal directly to the Board of Veterans Appeals. No longer is there a notice of disagreement or a Form 9 and all the bureaucracy that used to get in the middle. This form is a VA 10182, and believe it or not, it has 3 choices on it depending on your situation, your evidence, and what you and your veteran service representative strategize to be the best route for you to go. Regional offices use an approved manual to make decisions and provide many wins. However, the BVA law judge uses Combined Federal Regulation 38, which has specific laws and regulations on how to treat evidence, such as lay statements or other evidence that the regional office might not have viewed according to the CFR 38. And so my point being is, since the regional office only uses the manual, and a lot of evidence is there not being used correctly by the regional office, the BVA law judge must use it. So now I'm going to go over the 3 different choices on the 10182. Direct review, my favorite choice. No new evidence. It means we have a solid case that just the regional office did not give enough weight to the lay statements. But you can submit an argument on why you think the veteran should have been granted. And it can be submitted on behalf of the claim, and this is the quickest turnaround, less than 1 year. versus 10 years on the legacy. Choice number 2 is the evidence submission review lane, which means once you select that 10182 appeal, you can check that box, and that gives you 90 days to collect and submit additional evidence, and it's still going to be reviewed by a judge after that time frame. So it's a little bit longer, but still the second quickest of the 2 lanes. And then choice number 3 is where we go back to the traditional hearing with the BVA judge. This is by far the longest wait time, and it is a decision made by the veteran and his representative on if a hearing is actually needed. This lane allows the veteran to go before the BVA judge, either virtually and or in person, depending on the circumstances, and allows 90 extra days after the hearing to provide more evidence. This is, like I say, the longest of the 3 choices, but sometimes veterans want to be able to see the judge, talk to the judge, and express their whatever feelings that they have. The other new benefit to the AMA is that no decision is final. So under the legacy appeals process, once the BVA made a decision, that was the end of the game. There was no more reopening, refiling, decision final. You would have to actually start a new claim, and you would lose the data claim for the 10 years that you've been fighting for. Under the new AMA, as long as you appeal any decision within 1 year, it just keeps on going and your original data claim stays in place. That's a great advantage over the old system. Once again, if you need any information on filing an appeal, or if you should file an appeal or what lane to choose, please contact the Fresno County Veteran Service Office, and thank you for your service.